As we come to a close of 2017, it's been a very interesting year for the Nintendo Switch. Initially, I wasn't too sold on the system, but once I picked one up, got my hands on it, and started playing it, I fell in love with it, and it became my primary platform to play modern games on. And I've really had a good time with the Nintendo Switch. There's been a ton of awesome releases. You could see all those releases in my holiday gift guide for the Nintendo Switch video to see what games I really liked and to see what games you should probably check out. But we're starting to get into 2018, and things have been a bit quiet. There's a few games we know about that are coming out, but besides that, there's a lot of mystery surrounding 2018. So what is Nintendo doing with 2018 and the Nintendo Switch? What can we expect to see on the platform? I've taken out my crystal ball, which is right here, but you can't see it. Only I can see it. And I've decided to give you guys some predictions. So let's look into my crystal ball and see what Nintendo and the Nintendo Switch holds in store for us for 2018. So when it comes to 2018 and the Nintendo Switch, Nintendo's been a bit quiet on the system. So far, we know that Kirby and Yoshi are assumed to be hitting the Nintendo Switch in 2018. We've seen little snippets from these games, but nothing really in-depth, nothing really fleshed out from these games. And a lot of people are saying, oh, maybe Nintendo released too many games for the system in 2017, and that's why nothing has been announced for 2018. Well, I think it's more or less that we're going to see a Nintendo Direct in January from Nintendo themselves. And a lot of people are sort of assuming that, and I think that's a safe assumption. I think you will see Nintendo's spring and summer plans released or revealed in this Nintendo Direct that will probably take place in the middle of January. So I'm not too concerned on Nintendo's front. Now, of course, you have third parties that have announced some games, most of them coming out in the month of February, which is really strange, but you've had Bayonetta 1 and 2. Bayonetta 1 and 2 are coming to the Nintendo Switch as announced during the Video Game Awards. Now, we also got a confirmation of Bayonetta 3 being worked on for the platform with no release date. I do think we will see a holiday 2018 release for that game, so more than likely that will be, under your Christmas tree next year. And as far as other companies are concerned, we have Payday 2 coming to the Nintendo Switch on February as well, and Dragon Quest Builders coming to the Nintendo Switch in February as well. But other than that, kind of quiet. I mean, there's not a whole lot going on. We have Wolfenstein coming to the Nintendo Switch at some point in the spring, but other than that, companies have been a bit quiet. So really, we're having to guess things. We're having to pretty much put on our wizard hats and take out our crystal balls, which is right here, you just can't see it, and pretty much guess. So I'm gonna do some predictions for what we're gonna see on the Nintendo Switch in 2018. And I do feel that some of these predictions will come true, and if they don't, it's just a prediction at the end of the day. I'm not guaranteeing it, but I say there is a good possibility. Now, the big one that I think you're going to end up seeing from a third-party developer is Grand Theft Auto 5 on the Nintendo Switch. Now, a lot of people seem to have this mindset that, oh, Grand Theft Auto 5, that won't run on the Nintendo Switch. I'm pretty sure it's on the PS3 and the Xbox 360, and it runs just fine. Obviously, it won't look as good as the PS4 or the Xbox One versions, but the Switch version will manage to stand out because much like Skyrim, Grand Theft Auto is a huge series and an open world game. It's an open world adventure. Being able to take Grand Theft Auto 5 with you wherever you go is an awesome thing, and I think a lot of people will be interested in playing the Nintendo Switch version of it. I really feel that you will see this announcement possibly at the January Direct. I have heard some rumors that this is being worked on. It's been, ported to the system and they're just testing things out. So take it with a grain of salt. A rumor is just a rumor, but I do think you will see Grand Theft Auto 5 come to the Nintendo Switch. Another game I think there's a good possibility of seeing is Fallout 4, maybe a complete edition of the game. Now, Fallout 4 obviously had its issues on other platforms, but much like Skyrim, Fallout is an open world game, much like Grand Theft Auto, another open world game that I think Nintendo fans would gravitate towards, and I think that they would like to be able to take this game anywhere they go with them. So it will be interesting to see. I do think Fallout 4 does have potential to come to the platform. I think, honestly, you're going to see a lot of third-party ports from companies. You, of course, have Mega Man 11 coming out, and Capcom seems to be on board. You also have the Street Fighter 30th Anniversary Collection coming to the Nintendo Switch in May. So I would not be surprised if you see a Resident Evil 7, maybe complete Edition coming to the Nintendo Switch. That was heavily rumored last year that was going to be a game that was announced for the Nintendo Switch, but we never really saw anything from it. So why is that? I honestly feel that you didn't see anything from it because Capcom essentially got cold feet on the Nintendo Switch. They didn't know, if they were going to fully support the platform. They didn't know if they were going to, release all their games on it. But I do think you have a decent chance of seeing Resident Evil 7 on the Nintendo Switch. Now, as far as new games from third-party companies, I think you're going to end up seeing a lot of them. There's going to be a lot of cross, platform games with the Xbox One. I think that's going to be a strong point for the Nintendo Switch. You already see it with Rocket League, with the cross-platform play between the Nintendo Switch, the Xbox One, and Steam, and I really can envision this happening more and more often with games because it's just a good thing for gamers in general. I think you're going to see a lot of JRPGs come to the system. A lot of these games that were released on the Vita and that came to the Vita were, there was a lot of JRPGs on that platform. I think you're going to start seeing a lot more JRPGs on the platform. I think you're going to see, top tier JRPGs, some quirky JRPGs, all that stuff that was, commonly going to the Vita. I think you're going to end up seeing it go to the Nintendo Switch. Sports games. I think sports games are very interesting for the Nintendo Switch because EA really didn't do much with the Nintendo Switch at all. I think you're going to end up seeing Madden on the platform next year. It's pretty much a no-brainer at this point. Even if FIFA didn't sell all that well, it was sort of a gimped port. I think you will see another FIFA. I think you will see another WWE game. Hopefully better optimized because, good lord, that game was terrible. And I also think you're going to see the return of NBA 2K. It just makes sense for these companies to put their games on the platform. Sports games are a very popular genre. People love sports games, so it makes sense for them to add more sports games to the system. Another thing I think you're going to see on the Nintendo Switch in 2018 is Call of Duty. That's pending that Activision does another Call of Duty. I'm sure they will because Activision just loves crapping out Call of Duties every year. But I think a Call of Duty on the Nintendo Switch is definitely coming. I think Activision, much like EA got caught with their pants down on the Nintendo Switch, games started selling well. The system is selling very well. Over 10 million in just 9 months. So I think EA and Activision are realizing they need to invest some resources. They need to put some of their games on the platform. Whether you like EA games, whether you like Activision games or not, it's still nice to have these options on the system. And I think you're going to see Call of Duty in one shape or another come to the platform. You got to remember, even the Vita got a customized Call of Duty experience for the system. And I don't think it sold very well, but that's besides the point. There's a lot of potential when you take the Nintendo Switch with first-person shooters because you could do, like local LAN parties if everyone has a Switch. There's a lot of things you can do, even from a competitive standpoint. If you go to a competition, a gaming esports thing and you bring your Nintendo Switch, that's pretty cool. And people will be able to use their Nintendo Switches. Now, the big question is, what is Nintendo doing in 2018? A lot of people are guessing that you're going to see a sort of a remaster of Super Smash Bros. For the Wii U come to the Nintendo Switch. I'm honestly not 100% sure on that. Like, it makes sense if they do it with all of the DLC and beef up, the graphics a little bit, maybe fix that online code to make it run a bit smoother, but I don't really anticipate seeing that. I think they're sort of kind of trying to migrate away from these ports from the Wii U. Not that it's not necessarily a good idea to bring Wii U ports to the system because the Wii U did not sell all that well, but I think Nintendo's going to want to do something different. I really expect to see a return of older franchises, maybe like a new Golden Sun or a Battalion Wars. We haven't seen those two franchises in quite a while, and I'm actually a pretty big fan of Battalion Wars. I think it's a great franchise. Now, one of the big games, or the big two games that people are talking about is Metroid Prime 4 and, of course, the Pokemon game for the Nintendo Switch. Both of which have potential to be system sellers, definitely Pokemon more so than Metroid. I don't think you'll see Metroid in 2018. If I have to pick between the two, because honestly, I do not feel that they will do a Metroid and a Pokemon in the same year, I think Pokemon has a better chance of coming to the Nintendo Switch. You gotta figure, if they do like a fall release for Pokemon on the Switch, that will sell so many Switches and so many game units, like it would be crazy. It would probably trump this past year's, with Super Mario Odyssey and The Legend of Zelda. That's how powerful Pokemon is. And a lot of people seem to forget it. That's the reason why the 3DS was so successful. If you look at some of the top selling games, they're Pokemon games. People love those games. And honestly, I think that's probably what you're going to see from Nintendo in 2018. I think there's going to be some surprise new IPs from the company as well, maybe 1 or 2 different games, but I honestly feel like there's going to be a steady stream of games. A lot of people are worried, like I said previously, that Nintendo showed off too much. They did too much in 2017, but I honestly don't feel that's the case, because I think Nintendo wants this system to be very successful. I think they are putting all of their eggs into this basket, you know, phasing out the 3DS. The Wii U is long gone, and this is the primary platform of play. And if they play their cards right, there's no reason that this shouldn't be as successful in 2018 as it was in 2017, if not even more successful. You also have things like Nintendo's Virtual Console service, which we have not heard much about. We don't really know what's coming with it in the paid subscription service, but I think hopefully they're going to surprise people, you know, maybe make a good dedicated online game service and have these downloadable games with multiplayer included in them as well. And honestly, that's what I see for the Nintendo Switch in 2018. I think I've covered everything I wanted to cover. I think you're going to see some big third-party ports, such as Grand Theft Auto 5 and possibly Fallout 4, because those games, I don't really foresee them getting new versions anytime soon. I think you're going to see new stuff from Nintendo. You're going to see third parties really supporting the system. You're going to see more sports games and indie games. I haven't even mentioned indie games. There's going to be a whole slew of those, though. I mean, let's face it, there's already a whole slew of them now. But I think that 2018 is going to supersede Nintendo's 2017, and it's going to be a crazy ride. I look forward to covering as many of these games as humanly possible, because I know you guys enjoy me covering these games. So let me know in the comments section down below what you expect from Nintendo in 2018, and thank you for checking out this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit that like button. Like I said, leave me your thoughts in the comments section down below. Check out all my social media links in the description box. We got a Patreon, we got a Facebook page, we got a Twitter, we got all sorts of fun stuff, and I will catch you guys next time. Later.
RGT 85, RGT 85. RGT 85, RGT 85.